Hi and welcome to video 11 in the Gatsby JS series. In this video we're going to refactor our homepage icons and our recent post component. For our icons we're simply going to split them out to be their own component. For the recent post component we're going to make use of GraphQL so we don't have to pass the images as props. Eventually we'll get all of this from Contentful, but for now this is a good way to introduce you to the component level GraphQL queries. If we first switch to VS Code and run npm start, lovely, let's go. So we've already seen page level queries. If we look at our index.js page, just minimize that a little bit, that's what we've been writing. Page level queries have one disadvantage. They can only be placed underneath a component page. So that's pages such as our home page on index, contacts blog, and about page. We want to get the images for our recent post component here, but we want to get it inside the component rather than passing in the props. To do that, we need to make use of a hook provided by Gatsby called useStaticQuery. This allows our React components to retrieve data using a GraphQL query that will parse and evaluate and inject the data into the component. It's actually very similar to how the page level components work, but it has a few limitations, which we'll cover in a future video. For now, the query itself should look very similar. So let's switch to our recent post component and start using the hook. First, we need to import the useStaticQuery hook. So import, and this is from Gatsby library, so we need to import useStaticQuery, and we need to import GraphQL as well. This time, instead of our query being underneath the component, it's going to be inside the component. So if I just close these styles for now so we can see it a bit clearer. So inside our function, we need to set a const data equal to useStaticQuery, and then inside this we can write GraphQL and throw in our backticks. Now it's exactly the same as how we did our page level query earlier on. Our query simply goes inside of here. So if we type out query, we're now ready to start writing our query. And the difference here is that rather than data being passed in as a prop from the query underneath the component, we're doing the query inside the component and data will be equal to the query. So as the query is identical, we can go back to our index.js page and we can cut, not the hero image, so we want the Gatsby image and the view image, so we can cut them out. Let's give that a save. And in recent posts, we're simply going to make use of them in there. Let's test this worked. So inside here, we need to console.log. We'll console log data. And now on Chrome, we'll give it a refresh, and we got an error. So error function in homepage. Of course, we're trying to destructure Gatsby image and view image when we're no longer using that query in the homepage as we deleted them. So let's go to the top here, remove our Gatsby image and our view image. Let's give that a save. We also won't be able to access it in this, so we'll delete them out for now. And now in our recent post component, I'm going to minimize our query we've just placed. We want to just remove this map for the time being, as we don't have the post.image at the moment coming in. So I give that a save, go back and refresh this time. GraphQL is not defined in recent posts. Let's have a look. So we are importing GraphQL. What typo? I didn't even notice. GraphQL. So GraphQL, save that, go back. Hopefully this time we're actually all good. Perfect. So we're not displaying the post at the moment because we just commented that logic out. But we should have our console log. So yes, we do here. Our recent post.js file is console logging out the images. And you can see it's exactly the same as it was on the home page, getting all that fluid information about each of the images. So now we can refactor the imports. So we're not using posts anymore to be imported. So let's save that. Back in our index.js homepage file. Let's not use this at all anymore actually, because we're getting it all inside the component. So we no longer need to pass any information into recent posts. Back inside recent posts. So let's just paste in that data we got from our home page and comment it out for now, just as a reference for a few moments. and we need to create 2 of these for both of our images. So paste 1 in, paste 2 in, give that a save. Obviously we're not passing in the post prop anymore. So the first title is creating a Gatsby JS website from scratch, so we'll copy that. We don't need the key anymore as we're not looping through. We don't need post title, that's going to be a manual. For our second one, we'll do the same. Delete the key. Delete the post.title column and put our title in. And now we can delete that comment actually because we're using that information. So now we need to get our image. So like we did on the home page with destructuring, we'll destructure that a bit to make it a little clearer. So on data, rather than getting that back, we'll destructure Gatsby image and we'll destructure view image. Give that a save. Delete that console log. Now we should be able to write Gatsby image dot child image sharp dot fluid, and the same for our view image. Save that. Refresh the page, and we've got an error here. So what's it saying? Post is not defined. So I must still be missing the alt title, of course. So for now, we'll just delete the alt. Actually, no, we'll do it properly. We'll put the alt title in. So the alt title is just matching our header. Put that in there. Right thumbnail. So the screen readers know what this actually is. And then we'll do the same for our Vue.js one. So alt is equal to the title thumbnail. Lovely. Refresh that. And we're back to where we were when we started. However, now we have a much neater homepage. So our homepage is only getting the social information for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and the hero image component. It no longer is concerned about what the recent post contains. And this means we can now use this on any page. So if we went to our contact page and made this a multi-line component, wrapped a div on there, put a component in, import recent posts from components, recent posts, we should now see the recent posts on our contact page without any configuration whatsoever. We're not going to have this in our contact page. That was just an example to show you the power of this. So let's just quickly undo that. Before we move on to our next video, let's quickly refactor the social icons component as well. Because at the moment, it's tied directly to the index.js page and it's not reusable because we query in the site metadata and social from our home page. So if we try to drag this out and put it in another component, it'd fail. So first, we need to create a new component and we'll call it socialicons.js. And then inside there, we're going to import React from React. It's just a standard component boilerplate at the moment. We know we're going to be getting this queried data and we know it's a component. So again, we're going to need the use static query and GraphQL exports. So use static query and GraphQL. And then we can export default function and we called it social icons. That's not going to take any props and it's going to return some HTML. So let's copy that HTML from the home page. So our icons start here and we'll cut them straight out and paste them into social icons. It's now going to start shouting about a few things that we're missing. So we're missing font awesome icon and we're missing the actual icons themselves. So let's import them. So if we just cut that out of the home page, paste that into our social icons component, that's cleared them errors. And now the only errors that we've got outstanding are the errors for the queried data. So let's start using our use static query. So again, we'll do const data, and we'll set that equal to use static query. And inside our static query, we need it to say GraphQL and open up our backticks. This again is exactly the same as a home page, so we can go back to our index.js and we can cut the site metadata and social tags straight out. This leaves the home page all responsible for loading the hero image, so it's much more concise. So we paste that straight in there, give it a save, sort that tabbing out. Now we should be able to write data.site metadata .social.facebook, and if we did that for all of them, we have no errors anymore. Give that a save, go back to our home page and refresh, and we have an error. What's the error here? Unexpected name site. I forgot to wrap this inside a query tag. So if we cut that out, just throw in our query tag and then drop that in there. Cannot read property site metadata of undefined. So that's coming from home page, so we must still be referencing it. So yep, in our home page we are destructuring it. So let's cut that destructuring out, as we can use that inside our social icons. Just paste that underneath, actually, that will work exactly as it does in the other component. And now we can clear out all the data.site metadata and replace it with social dot. So that's much neater. So now we've got all that in place, we need to use this component. So inside our index.js, import social icons, give that a save, go back to our home page. There appears to be a slight error here, and I think that error is just needing a restart. So let's just run npm start again. Once that's rebuilt, let's just go back and give it a refresh. Perfect, so we have our icons back in here. One last thing we need to do is split the styles out, because the styles currently belong to the index.js page, but if we were to use this in the contact page, we'd want the styling to just work straight away. So in our home page, if we copy the icons and icons SVG section, save that, you'll see that the icons will no longer be styled, but we can now pull them over into our social icons component. So here we want to say const styles equals styled.div, give our backticks, throw them in there. We need to import styled as well. So let's import styled from styled components. We can't name this styled, obviously, because that's the name of the import, so we want to call this, call it social icons styles. And we'll set the wrapping div to be that. So now we've got a slight issue of our class name icons is on that, so we can delete that. And that being the root means we can delete the icons rule. We can also delete that one there and just say SVG. Go back, and the images are the wrong width, so there must be something going slightly wrong here. There we go, it looks like our rules are being overwritten. So our width is being overwritten by the SVG inline FA rule. So let's be a little bit more specific and hopefully that will fix it. If we say a SVG, same problem. And we can see our rules are being overwritten by this SVG inline, so let's apply it directly to that. And then we're overwriting their rules. Lovely. So now our home page is looking much neater. It's only got a small GraphQL query at the bottom, which is responsible for loading its own hero image. Our recent post component is responsible for loading its own images using the use static query, and our social icons are also using a static query to render their own links. We're really now starting to leverage the power of GraphQL and Gatsby. Soon we'll be ready to start setting up Contentful. But first, we need to quickly apply some styling to our outstanding pages. So join me in the next video where we will apply some styles to the rest of our application. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe if you are enjoying the series, and I will see you in the next video.